Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This month at Black Unicorn Creative, it is Fall in Love with Your Brand Month. So, all month long, I am talking to horse business owners about what makes them fall in love with their brand and how they make other people fall in love with their brand and in their business. So I'm super excited to kick this off this month with what is a brand? What is it and why is it important? I know you may have that question. So let's get into it. So let's get into it. What is a brand? I know that you've probably heard people say, oh my gosh, what's your branding? Oh, I love that brand, or I'm a brand strategist. And a lot of times people don't know what that means or what it is you do as a brand strategist or how you even build a brand or establish a brand. So I want to kind of go back. You never know where you're going until you know where you started from. And let's just talk about some of the history behind the word brand, honestly, and what branding means to us today. So, way back, records show as early as 4000 BC in Egypt, branding was so important. They knew the value of representation and showing, this is owned by someone, this belongs to this person, or if you see this symbol, this is how you should feel or how you should interact with whatever it is that the brand is on. Even the Romans believed that brands possessed like some sort of magic, whether it was branded on a person, branded on an animal. There was always some sort of significance with this visual appearance. And there was a way that it was supposed to make you feel. So that's kind of the history behind that. Fast forward to, 100 years ago up until now, ranchers brand their livestock to stake claim to their animals that they owned. And if you brand your animals, it deterred people from stealing from you because it was something permanent. You can't make it go away. Once an animal is branded, you can't, you know, say, "Oh no, we're just going to take that off." Like it's just not possible. So it deterred people from stealing animals and just gave that sense of security. This was raised by me, birth through my breeding program, all these things. And people still use brands to this day to show, this is where this animal came from. This is what kind of expectation you should have if you see a brand and you say, wow, that is an incredible training program, you should expect that this animal is trained amazingly, right? Each brand itself is honestly unique to the owner or the whether that be like an individual or a company. It's all of them are unique and all of them are able to represent what it is that company or that individual stands for. So when we talk about branding in a digital kind of marketing aspect, when we're talking about your online presence, We want that same sentiment for you and your horse business. We want people to say, "Hey, when I see, you know, this logo for a horse treat company, for example, I want to feel, fuzzy and warm in that I am giving my horse something that they are going to love. It is a special treat for them, and I want them to be obsessed with it." So, you want to have this sort of visual representation of those feelings and that be unique to you. Nowadays, we talk about branding in the form of like the name of your business, design aspects of your business, whether there it be a certain symbol or different features of your identity that makes you unique and that is distinct from other people. We also talk about it in the aspect of representation of company values and purposes and strengths. So we want to be able to relate all of these things back to who you are just by looking. So when we talk about messaging and design, the visual aspect, and where you show up and how you establish your digital hoofprint, branding is such a huge part of that. It's not the only part. Businesses can have brands that, are not super established and be moderately successful. But Ariat, you see their logo and you already have a notion in your mind what that brand consists of. You feel like you were going to get a high quality product. Wrangler, also good quality products, but you have a different feeling. You have that rustic, rugged feeling like these things are going to be super durable. Like products are super durable. So they have created an entire experience around their brand that you honestly can do for your business. Now that we have gone over the history and pretty much what a brand is, let's talk about some of the components of a brand. Now, stick with me here. There's three major parts of what a brand truly is. And there's a bunch of little things underneath them, but I will go through it and you will understand truly how branding can help you and your horse business. So let's go ahead and get to it because I love this topic. This is one of my favorites. All right. So brands or branding or brand strategy, however you want to quantify it, comes in three parts: brand assets, brand identities, and brand awareness. Let's start with the assets first. So everyone wants to jump into brand assets. There were so many businesses or so many people that have come to me with businesses that are like, yeah, I want a logo and I want to make it pop. And I asked them, okay, so tell me about your company. What are your values? What's your mission? Like, what is it that you really want to do? And they couldn't provide really succinct answers to that. They kind of were like, oh, I hadn't quite thought about that just yet. Brand assets are the visuals of the brand, the logo, website, social design portion, packaging, business cards, email layout. It's that visual portion of it, the digital or physical assets that show people who you are. It's the perception that people get from the outside of your business. They say, hey, What is that? What's the first thing they see? And you want it to invoke some sort of feeling. Now, how can you decide what kind of feeling or what this appearance is supposed to look like if you don't know what the feeling is that you're trying to convey? You don't know what personality you want your business to have. Do you want it to be cheery or do you want it to be serious? You know, it's kind of up to you to decide these things ahead of time. And it 100,000% helps your graphic designer or your web designer when you have these things thought about already. Now, that's kind of getting into the brand identity. The brand identity are the elements and the assets of your brand and the feeling you want to convey appropriately conveyed to them. So if you have a logo and you want people to feel happy and smile when they see it, you probably won't use really dark colors in your branding. So you have to kind of decide what it is you want people to feel and what mentally you want people to associate with your brand before you start building the assets. So some of the parts of brand identity are the mission of your business, the vision you have for the future, your values, what's important to you and what do you, consider non-negotiable. I will not put my business in the position to where we have to do things that we're compromising over. What are those values to you? What kind of personality do you want your business to have? Do you want to be bubbly and fun and whimsical? Or do you want to be more serious and concise and direct? You have to kind of walk through that before you start building these visual assets. You get into your brand identity when you start figuring out what services you are truly going to offer. You don't want to mismatch your services and your identity because people don't have the same association with them. For example, if you are an accounting firm, you do books for horse businesses, you may not want to come off as super bubbly and cheery and bouncy because finances are pretty important and people take that really seriously. So they may not want a super playful appearance or identity to take care of their really serious business. When you think of your unique value proposition or what it is that you are going to offer to your clients, you truly need to understand how people are going to feel about that and incorporate that in your mission and your values and the visual identity that you want to put forward. Brand identity, kind of how you come across it or how you build it, you have to do these different analyses and surveys. You have to do market research. You figure out who your target audience is. You can do like SWOT analysis, what it is that you are good at, what it is that the market looks like already, and how you can come in and take your piece of the market. And knowing that you have to develop a target audience or this demographic of customers that you want to serve, you have to figure out what appeals to them. What do they like? If you have no idea what your customers like, how can you show up in a way that is likable? It's going to be difficult, right? So, knowing that target audience or the demographics and the psychographics of them, it will lead you to be able to make the decisions on the asset portion. Like, what kind of fonts will they like? Will they resonate with the most? What kind of colors will they resonate with the most? The whole color psychology thing, you might not see a yellow logo for something that is truly serious. It's the whole psychology behind colors and how they make us feel. It'll help you with how you are going to show up, the assets portion, just by taking the time to sit there and come up with this identity for your business and your brand. It's not always the work that you enjoy doing, it's not always the fun part. But if you are struggling with marketing and you feel like you don't know where your audience is or how to talk to them, it's probably because you have not done these things. When you are confident and secure in your identity, you don't have an issue telling people what it is, right? It's the same way in your business. If you feel confident in the identity that you have crafted for your brand or your business, it is going to be easy for you to talk to your people because you know them. You know what they like, you know what resonates with them. So the whole marketing aspect of it becomes so much easier. But you got to do the work. You've got to do the work. And don't think that because you have a business already or you've already launched your brand that you can't change it up. That's not the case. You can, it is going to be work, but you can go through a rebrand. You can say, I don't really want to target these kinds of people anymore. I want to target this new group. Let me figure out what they like and rebrand so that you resonate with them. This is your business. This is your decision. And we all know horse people are a special, you know, segment of livelihood. So you need to figure out who it is that you want to talk to in your business, whether you want to attract beginner riders versus advanced riders, whether you want to attract a certain discipline or you want to attract people that aren't even into horses to get into horses. The way that you talk to them is going to be so much different. That's when we get into brand awareness, making people aware of what your brand is about. So you've established your brand identity, and from that you've been able to work with a graphic designer, web designer, the whole nine, to craft the brand assets, those digital and physical assets, the appearance that is going to kind of carry your brand off into reality, into the abyss. This is going to be your representation. Now you have to make people aware. And that is where your marketing practices and your strategies come in place. That's where you are able to honestly sit down and have a conversation, whether it be on social media, through your email list, or in a brick and mortar shop. You're able to say, this is how I can help you. This is how I can solve the problem that you have. And this is how I want you to feel when we're having this exchange. I want you to feel happy and bubbly, or I want you to feel that I'm taking your problems seriously. I want you to feel confident in me because I am a horse attorney, an equine industry attorney, and I can draw these contracts for you confidently and it will cover you in your business. You want people to feel a particular way that is going to keep them coming back and keep them to, or encouraging them really to share your business with other people. So when you talk about brand awareness and you talk about marketing and strategy, if you do the other two things first, this last part will come to you so much easier. It will make you able to really sit down and let it feel like a coffee date, even if you're just talking to your email list. A lot of times, there are, for example, photographers out there, people who are in an industry or in a career path that they feel is either oversaturated or there's so many people they don't know how they can be unique. It's because they don't find an identity. They don't feel like they have an identity outside of just being that photographer. But you can do so many things with that. You can, say, oh, I only do horse shows, or I focus on family and portraiture, or I focus on like publications, like taking photos for actual print publications, and you're going to get a different identity with each of those photographers. Horse show photographers, you may get that fast action, that I'm trying to get this shot because this is the only run this person has. Please move out the way. Kind of no nonsense, but fun, but no nonsense, because they are trying to capture these moments that you don't get a lot. With the family photographer, you may find someone who is truly more patient, and they're able to work with you because we know when it comes to putting animals and kids in a photo, it may not work out like you want it to. So when they are building their identity and building their assets, they can have a visual representation saying, like, this is how I want you to feel. Like purples and light blues will make you feel more patient. Uh, Crispier colors like greens, or more royal blues or golds, that kind of makes you feel that sense of like urgency, and like I am spot on it for, say, like a horse show photographer. You want people to be able to associate a feeling with your brand, and it truly be the feeling that you are going to build with them, or have between your relationship or your customer experience. So I hope that has truly helped you understand what branding is in a large umbrella view. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Shoot me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook, or even comment underneath this video. What is something that you really learned in this episode? I cannot wait to get into more of this fall in love with your brand, and I'm really excited to be on this journey with you.